I don't know if I'm ever gonna recover from the emotional damage of this book.
What the heck just happened?
I am the law. Like, oh yes, I'm the law. So good.
I have chills.
Like, I knew he was gonna hurt me, but how can he manage to trick me and surprise me and do all of these amazing plot twists and all this emotional damage in like the last part?
I definitely have incredibly high expectations for A Wind in Truth. I don't think that there's any book in this series that I didn't like. They're all just incredible, like better and better and better and better. I'm so excited. Also super nervous because it's the end of the arc. So like, what is that gonna mean? Which characters are gonna make it? Which characters are not gonna make it? I don't know, but I'm really excited about it. So from my understanding, Wind in Truth is from Szeth's perspective, and it's going to be following the events immediately after Rhythm of War. So Szeth and Kaladin are off to, I think they're going to Shinovar, and they are going to be like cleansing all of the Unmade. And I think that Kaladin's gonna have a really big role in this, in helping Szeth fight his own kind of like issues, because Kaladin in the like towards the end of Rhythm of War had kind of overcome a lot of the obstacles and mental health challenges that he had. So it's like, I wonder if he's gonna help guide Szeth in that way. And then like the Herald is also with them, and so that's gonna be really interesting to see how that goes. And there's like that theory about Kaladin becoming honor, so I'm like, that'd be kind of cool, you know? And then we have all of our other amazing characters like Dalinar and Navani, who are going to be kind of looking towards like, who is Odium's champion going to be? Oh, what if Odium's champion ends up being one of like the Heralds? Like if he can kind of go back maybe in time and like grab one of them or something before they kind of lost their minds. I don't know. Anything is possible. And maybe even, oh, what if it's like from a different Cosmere book? Like what if he like takes somebody else from one of the other books, like I don't know, like Ruin or something, but like I don't know what that'd be like. But anyways, yeah, so we have a bunch of different perspectives from a bunch of different characters, and yeah, it's just gonna be wrapping up the pieces of the arc. And so without further ado, let's crack this book right open. Oh, but wait, we know the drill. This is a hardcover with a dust cover, so this dust cover's gotta come off before I can read it. And I'm really hoping that there's a pretty design underneath. So we're gonna start opening it backwards. So we'll take this off, that way we can look at it together. Please be a design, please be a design. No, oh, okay, never mind, okay. Not super disappointed, there is a design. Very subtle design. Looks like one of the shard blades. Oh, wow, that's a big hunk-a-lunk. All right, let's read this book for real. So I just finished the first part and the interludes of Wind in Truth, and this was Shalin and Kaladin's perspectives. This was such a great setup because it kind of like reminded me about some of the stuff that happened in the prior books, but in a way that you're also getting new information at the same time. Like Brandon Sanderson is so good at that in his worlds. Oh, I love his worlds. And it's like just reading, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Now, like I'm back into this, and there's some like really funny things that happened that made me laugh out loud, but it also concerns me because there are a couple of funny things, but in my experience, usually you have funny things before like tragedy strikes, so that makes me a little bit nervous. So starting with Kaladin's story, I think obviously I love him. He's my man, he's my boy. I love him so much. And so I'm really excited for his story because we know that he is going to be going with Szeth to Shinovar. And it's going to be really cool. So like right now he was just like saying his goodbyes to everybody, and it was like really, really heartwarming and really sad at the same time. And like he knows what he needs to be doing. And there's this new introduction of the wind, which is really interesting to me and kind of makes me wonder about like why he can hear that but other people can't. And it kind of reinforces the belief of that popular theory that he will become Honor one day. And so yeah, I'm excited to see where his path is going to go, how he's going to help Szeth and the Heralds. He's kind of like a therapist for them in a way now that he's like retired. And so I'm excited to see how that goes. And then also just there are some really subtle scenes of how he's still dealing with the PTSD from the battles that he went through. So I thought that was really well done as well. Very subtle, very good, very real. And there's something interesting happened with Syl. So like, she's really, I don't know if this is like what's happening or not, but I think that she's trying to look more human because I think she might love Kaladin. And like, at first it seemed like maybe they had like a bit of like, I don't know, a sibling relationship, but it seems that it's a little bit different now, and she's dressing more mature. She made herself human-sized, and like, she's kind of like flirty and stuff now. So it's like, interesting what that's about. So we'll see. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting and unexpected. And I was like, pretty cool though. I'm excited to see like where that story is going to go as well. Oh, and then also I got to talk about the prologue because what? I didn't realize that he was such like a jerk and such like a liar and such a manipulator. So that was surprising. And I was like, okay. Interesting. So yeah, I really love that like with the prologues because you learn so much about what happened all of those years ago. And every single book is giving you like a new piece of information, which I think is really fun because like Brandon Sanderson could have just given us the full story in the first book, but no, like we're getting bits and pieces of the events that we have kind of maybe seen in the background or kind of heard about, but now we're like seeing more of it. And I'm like, oh, that's who those people were who were with him. Or like, that's why this happened. And that's the conversation. And it's like, yeah, pretty good. And then of course, Shalyn, she was the other one who was focused on in this first initial part. And I love her so much. She's always amazing. There's my Pattern stories. I love Pattern. Any scene with Pattern just makes my day. And so like seeing him from his spren form, and then now that they finished their kind of like mission in Shadesmar, and now they have kind of a new mission. Like they have to get back and they have to tell Dalinar and Navani and such about what they learned and what's coming, and like the honor spread. And I feel like there's gonna be like, although Adolin had convinced the honor spread with like the events that happened with Maya and stuff, I feel like not all of the honor spread are on board. And I think that there's gonna be this like big division where there's gonna be war with the Spren. There's gonna be the Spren who, not even just like the corrupted Spren, but maybe it's like a mix of like corrupted and non-corrupted Spren, and they're like kind of against each other. It's like they don't like the humans still, and these ones do. So I feel like there might be some kind of setup coming of like a Spren battle. Maybe that's what the next arc will focus on. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm having a good time. Also, I'm pretty sure I've noticed 3 Mistborn references. The first one, which this is the only one that I'm not sure if it's actually a Mistborn reference, but in the prologue, there was this mention of this character with a spike through their eye. And that reminds me a lot of like the Inquisitors in Mistborn. So I'm not sure if that's actually going to be something or not, or maybe it was just kind of like a little Easter egg for people, but I thought that that was cool. And then the 2 ones that I'm like confident actually were Mistborn references was that Szeth was mentioned, or Szeth. I don't know how you say his name, but I love him so much. And so like when Hoid Witt was talking about Szeth, I was like, oh, I know who he's talking about. And I'm like, this is so cool. I love that little Easter egg so much. And then the other reference was actually really surprising, and I don't know, because like Brandon Sanderson would never reuse this name. And that's why I'm like, this has to be a Mistborn reference, but like, what does that mean? Because he mentioned Lord Kelsier in the interlude. And like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Kelsier? What do you mean? Like, that's, yeah, I'm like, whoa. That honestly blew my mind. So yeah, we'll see how that goes and what that's all about. But those are the 3 Mistborn references that I've noticed so far. And yeah, I'm sure there's going to be much more as well, because like in the interlude with Kalik, there was this one guy who was using like making the ropes move around. Like I noticed like what was a really big thing in Warbreaker. So, interesting. All the pieces. I'm noticing all these little parts from the other books that you've recommended to me. So yeah, so good. So I'm going to continue to read Wind and Truth. This next part has a bunch of characters. Listen to this. Has Dalinar, Jasnah, Navani, Fen, Yanagon, Adolin, Shallan, Szeth, Sigzil, Kaladin, Lift, Renarin, Raylan, and Lopen. So that's gonna be fun. We got so many great characters. Honestly, I had to double check that there was no Vyre because I'm like, please not a Vyre chapter right now. But yeah, no, we got a bunch of great characters coming up in this next part. So I am going to read the next part, which is day 2 in the story, which, right? Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna read that and I'll update you when I finish that in the interludes. And so yeah, I'll see you then. Last night I finished day 2 and the interludes in Wind and Truth, and it was so cool because you get so many different perspectives from so many different characters, and it was really great because it's really just, it's re-reminded me as well about some of these characters that maybe I don't remember quite as well as some of the other main characters. So I thought that was really good. My favorite parts were definitely the Szeth parts though, because getting to see a little bit more about his backstory and his childhood, and even about Shinovar in general, because it's always kind of been this mysterious thing, at least to me. And I was like, yeah, this is really cool. And then like Kaladin trying to help Szeth through his difficulties, and then also trying to like really just take in the sights of Shinovar. So yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in there. And then what happened with Dalinar and Navani and Gav? I'm very nervous, but also like really excited because I think there's going to be some really great character development, and just like it's just going to be really cool. I also really liked Lift's chapters. She's grown on me so well. I just love her. I really love the way that her chapters are written, like how a teenage girl would think and speak. And the way that she's like now, like kind of checking out boys. I'm like, oh, Lift. We've been there. We've all been there. And then Wit, just being Wit, or Hoyd. I love him so much. And like, he's so smart. And like, people know now, like that he's not just this silly little wit, that he's so much more. And so him really being able to like flex those knowledge muscles of his and help guide our characters, I thought was really great as well. And then like the relationship with him and Jasnah, like I think we got some really good insights into that as well, that honestly I was pretty surprised about. And yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. And Renarin and Raylan, I never really shipped them before, but after that scene, I'm kind of seeing it, you know, like that would be kind of good. And I mean, they're both outcast. Their names both start with R, and they both just really respect each other and like really want to include each other in whatever they're doing with Bridge 4. So yeah, I think that ship is like pretty solid. I could see that taking off. Also, that shower scene. I know that like a lot of the times it's always like a fade to black, but still, that shower scene. So yeah, so much has happened. I feel like a lot of it is reintroductions to the characters and getting the stakes all set up, because now that what just happened at the end of this part, stuff is gonna be going down. Wow, the sun is really in my eyes right now. Why is it doing that? And yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun. I'm really excited to see where it's gonna go. I think I'm most excited, and I mean, I like all of our characters, of course, but I'm most excited for Dalinar and Navani's chapters and for Kaladin and Szeth's chapters, because I think that those two storylines are just like so exciting to me. You're in my eyes. Oh, so much better. So yeah, I'm really excited. This next part, which is day 3, is about Adolin, Szeth, and Kaladin. So I'm really excited for that. I think that the storyline is just going to be so good and exciting. I am really eager to see what happens with Navani and Dalinar's story, but I'm gonna have to wait, it seems, because this day is not about them. But it's okay, because I love Kaladin so much. It's about Kaladin and all of these great characters. And so like him and Szeth, I'm just, the Szeth backstory stuff is phenomenal. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting my fill of Szeth and Kaladin adventures here. Imagine they become like best friends. It's like so unexpected. That'd be really cute. But yeah, I'm gonna continue to read, and I will update you when I finish day 3. So I'll see you then. I just finished day 3 in Wind and Truth, and I think this might be my favorite part so far. It had like just such great action, so much stuff just happening to each of the characters, some good battles, some good backstory, some of course heartbreaking moments that Brandon Sanderson loves to do to us, even in the subtlest of ways. It was a good time. Adolin's growth as a character is so evident in that part, and I love that like he made a mistake and he found a way to really just fix the mistake, apologize, and move forward from it. And then also just the way he inspires people and the way that he fights and just everything. And how much he loves his horse. I love that. I think that that was just like a really well done part that really showcased who Adolin is. With Szeth and Kaladin's parts in the story, I thought that was really good too. And I feel so sad for Szeth. Like, I love this man. He's so sad and tortured, and I always got a soft spot for the sad tortured, which is why I love Kaladin so much. Yeah, so excellent part. So good. So good. This, yeah, really good time. So I'm excited. I'm going to be starting day 4 now, which has Dalinar, Kholin, Kaladin, Szeth, Navani, Adolin, and Sigzil. So this is a really great cast of characters that I'm excited to see like where that's going to go. I've been eager to find out what happens to Dalinar and Navani after what happened in like the first day or the second day. And I'm like, oh, I need to know what's gonna happen to them. So I finally get to see where their story's gonna go, continuing to follow Kaladin and Szeth's story. And then Sigil's having some really great character growth too, because like he's the guy in charge of the Windrunners now. And so he's trying to learn how to be a leader like Kaladin was, but also like carve his own path because he has some major imposter syndrome. So yeah, so good. I'm so excited to see where this is gonna go. Also in the interludes, I don't know who this Backskull guy is, but interesting. And then in the Odium chapter, what Dova was talking about, is that the same stuff that the Inquisitors used? Like, I don't know, but I'm like, So I'm going to continue to read Wind and Truth, and I will update you when I finish part 4 and the interludes that come with it. So I will see you then, and I have a feeling that like stuff is about to go down, and I'm just like mentally preparing myself for the emotional damage. So I finished day 4 and the interludes in Wind and Truth, and Szeth's sheep. I'm not gonna get over that. There is nothing more tragic than Szeth's sheep. I am heartbroken over that. No wonder he's the way he is. Like, that's something I really love about these books, that each of them gives you different insights into whoever the kind of character being focused on backstory is. And for Szeth, I honestly did not expect this kind of backstory for him. Like, I had no idea what his childhood was going to be like how he became the assassin in white. And so I think that that's really cool that we get to follow along his journey and just get to know him a little bit better. And like, I just feel so bad for him. But there are also a lot of like really cute, wholesome moments that are happening. I really like, there was like this cute dance scene with Kaladin and Syl, and like Kaladin learning to play the flute that Wit gave him. And like, I just thought that was really wholesome. And they're just like, da da da, like having a good time. And then like the growing friendship between Adolin and Yonaghan, I think is just so unexpected, but just so nice. Like, it just makes so much sense. Like, Adolin has always been that kind of character to take somebody under his wing and like take care of them and teach them and mentor them, and he's so good at that. So I wonder if like in the future, like depending on obviously how the books go and if everybody survives, if he'll kind of be like Zeal, who I know is Vasher now that I've read Warbreaker. But I wonder if that's what he'll be like one day when he gets like a little bit older and stuff, and maybe like retires or something, and he'll end up being this like mentor and teaching people. I think that would be really cute and just kind of nice. Cause like he's really good at it, and it's just, yeah, people need more Adolins in their life. And like him and Maya, oh, I love everything that's happening with that. It's just so nice and just so fun, and I love them. But okay, we need to talk about that interlude with Odium. The spikes. I've read Mistborn. I know what those spikes are. So like, is that exactly like that? Like, is that what that is? Or is it just like a similar version of it? And what does that mean? Because there was previously a mention of this character, Lord Kelsier. So it's like, is this just like a little Easter egg for those of us who have read Mistborn? Or is there more to this? I don't know, but these spikes, I feel like they're gonna be really, I don't know. And then, of course, something else that I think is really fun is just following along the different visions with Dalinar and Navani, and poor Gav got trapped in there as well. And so they're just like exploring, and we get to learn so much about the history and the beautiful, amazing world that Brandon Sanderson has created. It feels so real, and how everything connects. It's like, it honestly blows my mind that he has this whole thing, at least from my understanding, the whole thing planned out. And so it's like, you're reading this book, but like the first book came out like over 20 years ago, and now you're getting like all this information about like the history and every single thing that's happened, and it's just so amazing, and I love it. So good. I am just, and the Stormfather, he's like, Dalinar, don't do this. And there's some secret there, and I want to know what that secret is. So I'm going to continue to read Wind and Truth, and I will update you when I get to the next day, which is day 5, I believe, plus the interlude. So I will see you then. I finished day 5 and the interludes in Wind and Truth. Are you the Vire interlude? Like, I did not see that coming. Yeah, that's, wow. I got chills. This book is getting even more interesting now. I really liked like the first 200, 300 pages was really focused on like relationships and the characters and kind of like what they were doing and reintroducing us to the world. And then now all this stuff is starting to happen. The characters are where they're supposed to be for this story. And just like the growth with Kaladin and Szeth, I think is really cute too. I really love Kaladin's like attempts of trying to make Szeth feel better and understand him and just like let him talk while they're both making mistakes, but they're learning and they're working together, and then they're not working together, and there's so much to it. And I love following along their journey so much, because they're similar. They're very similar characters, two characters who were forced into becoming something they never wanted to be and never had an interest in being. And so I think that that was really cool. And then like, oh, that really cute scene with the sheep and then Kaladin being like, oh, realizing the similarities between Szeth and somebody else. And I was like, yes, I love that. It's also really interesting that we have these scenes with Venli and the stone and how they're kind of interacting, and then we have the Kaladin and the wind one. So we just don't have somebody who has night, because stone, wind, and night seem to be like the forgotten gods that kind of faded as like Odium and Honor and them kind of like took over the kind of place. And so I'm interested to see where that goes, because like my suspicion is that wind is either going to make Kaladin into a herald or into Odium himself. And then going with the Herald theory, I feel like that's possible because, well, I mean, I don't know how possible it is, but because there's like stone as well, like Venli was stone. So maybe Venli becomes like a Herald and so does Kaladin. I don't know. I don't know exactly what that connection is, but there's something there and I'm excited to get that explored more. And I feel like it's going to take a bigger part of the story in the upcoming arc. It's also interesting to see like Adolin's interaction with the Honor Spren. I don't think that he's going to bond any of them, but I think it's cool that they can work together without a bond. So curious to see where that goes. And then I don't know about you, but those, oh, what were they called? Focused ones were just so cool to me. Like imagine being this big like sumo wrestler and then you like tighten your skin, but your skin is like ropes and you become this big, strong, like bam, bam, kind of like bodybuilder. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm kind of obsessed with that for some reason and I can't stop thinking about it. And there's this like really cool picture I saw in the book as well that had that and I'm like, that's really cool. Sumo wrestler to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I loved it. We got a really great cast of characters for this upcoming part and I'm really excited. Finished day 6 and the interludes. I have chills. What the heck just happened? Odium? Give me a second. Wow. That, I had to reread that scene because I was like, I'm just mind blown. Like, I can't believe that happened. And like, I love it, but I hate it and I feel for him and I feel for cultivation and like, It's also, the plot seems to be thickening even further because with Dalinar and Navani and Gav and Shalin and friends in these visions, the more and more of these visions that we see, I'm starting to wonder like, is the Stormfather actually what he says he is? Or is he actually Honor? Or was he impersonating Honor in some of these visions to make certain decisions, but Honor didn't actually make these decisions? I don't know, but there's always been some mystery to the Stormfather. Like, always, always, always. And I think that there's more to him than we think. Like, even more to it. And I don't know, I don't think he's a regular, like, I know he's like a big spren, but like, I don't even know if he's a spren. I don't know. I'm also still so in love with Adolin and Yonaghan's just like growing friendship. I love that he's teaching him like the Towers card game now. And it's just, I just love it so much. It's just like a nice wholesome moment on top of all the tragedy and emotional damage that we're going to continue to get in these books. And like, okay, Nail, like I get that this man has lost his mind, but the regression with Szeth is making me so mad. Like I get it, but also like leave him alone. Kaladin is trying to help him and you are not helping him. You're making everything worse. So yeah, that's, but at least Syl's there too. Syl is so, oh my goodness. Okay, Syl, I always love Syl, but like Syl is extra helpful and like she supports not only Kaladin, but she's also trying to help Szeth in that scene with the Lightweaver kind of like temple then. I really, really liked that. I thought that was so clever and so well done, and just like, it was just like such good teamwork too, but it's also just so fun. So good. I love this book. And I'm also like, I'm sure that it's going to make more sense later, but that part of the interlude before the Odium one, where it was like this girl and her grandfather had been killed by Nail, and I think we actually had that guy's interlude like a couple books ago, and her mom is a radiant, and then there was like this big thing that came out of the water, and it's like, it's time, and like they're like, oh, pack your bags, let's get going. And so they're going, but like, I don't know what that means. I have ideas, but the mystery continues. So I'm going to continue to read, and I will update you at the next part. For some reason, I'm losing track of which days they are, because it's like, when you finish it, it says like end of day 5, but you're reading day 6. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm confused. But yeah, I'm going to continue to read, and I will update you at the next part. So I will see you then. I finished day 7 and the interludes of Wind and Truth. And again, chills. I swear every single one of these parts end with chills. Especially, honestly, that scene with the Thunderclass. I was not emotionally ready for that at all. But on the bright side, Lift's interlude was really, really just like funny and cute, and also really cool, because I know that Brandon Sanderson had mentioned before that as Lift starts to get a little bit older, her story is really going to start to shine through. And I think that we're getting to that, because it's like, for whatever reason, that deal she made, she's still growing up, which is the opposite of what she wanted. And so she's personally struggling with that. But then we know, because she's going to be a little bit older, where Brandon Sanderson wants to tell her story a bit more, that we're going to be getting closer to that. I don't know how much time skip this arc has in it or not, but yeah, I think that that's really fun. And I just love the difference in writing style when it comes to like Lift's point of view versus someone serious like Dalinar. And I just think it's a really cool way for Brandon Sanderson to like show his different characters and also flex his writing muscles a bit. And although she doesn't have many chapters dedicated to her, I love Jasnah chapters. She is so smart and so on top of things that I just love watching how her brain works and how she can think through these issues and just like work towards a resolution and try to like find holes and potentially get into Odium's mind to figure out like what can she do to make sure everything goes the way it's supposed to. And I love that. And the plot continues to thicken with Honor, so interesting. I'm still going with my Stormfather theory that the Stormfather is not like a regular Spren, but I don't think that he's Honor either. I think I'm leaning more towards like he's impersonating Honor at times, but I don't know, but there's something sketchy going on with that. And then I'm just like surprised at some of the things that Honor does, which goes against the way that we've always known Honor. But the same thing happened at like the prologue of this. You learn about Galavier, and you see him in a completely different light in the prologue. So I kind of see a bit of a contrast for that versus Honor, but I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes. Is this actually Honor, or is it part of just, or is my theory of it correct? I don't know. Probably not though. Also, cute shout out to my boys Raylan and Renarin. You guys got this. And then related to Szeth, again, love this man's backstory. Very curious to see like where that goes with his dad, because his dad is so supportive and amazing and just kind and sweet, and I'm like, what happens to you? Like, what happens to you? But yeah, I think that it's really cool that Szeth had asked Kaladin to like help him or for his opinion and stuff, and I'm like, that is growth. We love that. And then also it was really interesting what Szeth's Spren, what is the name? 12324, I believe. What Szeth's Spren had accidentally mentioned about there being a bit of a Spren division. And we kind of had inklings of that in Rhythm of War, especially like when Adolin was at the trial and stuff. And so it does seem like there's still a split. So I feel like that is going to become more in the upcoming books as well. And last but certainly not least, one of the major plot points of this book that for some reason I feel like I haven't talked about is with Mishram, and how Shallan, Raylan, Renarin, their Spren, as well as the Ghostbloods are trying to find Mishram, who is basically this Unmade, and she's been, boop, imprisoned, and apparently she's a threat to Odium. So Ghostbloods want her for whatever reason, and Shallan and friends are like, you can't have her, like, stay away from that. And so she's popping up all over the place, like popping up in visions, popping up in kind of like the spirit realm thing that they're in, or just like popping up being like, I'm gonna eat you, and it's like, whoa, calm down there, please don't eat us. Yeah, and she has a very good reason to hate humans. Let's just say the Windrunner and the Sinner. That was so shocking, but like it makes so much sense too, and I'm curious to see as well, like I'm just so, I get chills just thinking about this book. Yeah, but I think that she has a very valid reason to not like people. And so I feel like though, like she's obviously positioned as like a bad guy, but I feel like because of the way that she was kind of hurt in the past and stuff, I don't think she's actually a bad guy. I think that maybe she'll be able to help our characters win this war. But what that looks like and what that means long term for the series, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think she's a bad guy, but we'll see. So I'm going to continue to read, and I will update you when I get to the next day. We're getting close here, so I will see you then. So I finished day 8 and the interludes, and I don't think I ever would have really guessed about Shallan's mom if I wasn't reading fan theories before, so good on you guys for guessing that. But yeah, I thought that was like really fun. I kind of had a feeling, but then I'm just like, yes. And Odium loves to stir up drama. I swear nobody loves more drama than Odium. He'll find a way to just cause all of these issues and drama and sadness and sorrow and all of this stuff, which I mean, obviously is his character, but like the scene with Dalinar and Gav just made me really, really sad. It's like this poor child. It's just like heartbreaking that he got like sucked into there just trying to follow along like what they were doing. I'm like, my heart. And then also the scene with Elhokar, for whatever reason, it did not hit me until reading that part that the reason he was so paranoid was because he was being followed by cryptics because he was on his way to become a Radiant. And I don't know why it didn't hit me before, but it hit me then, and I still can't believe that, like, if you asked me when I was reading the first book what I think of Elhokar, I would not have this emotional of a reaction, but he's grown on me so much. Although I would say my 2 favorite parts of this day was definitely the life of a god, because like amazing. I love the way it was written. I love the different font. I love all the capitalization, but just like following that along and really understanding this character and who this character is and what are they going for and what are their, like, just everything about them, following that entire story and how it all lines up and you finally get that character's perspective was amazing. And then of course my second favorite part of this part at least of the book was definitely the reveal with Szeth and the voice, and like finally coming to the end and like, what is the voice, what does it belong to, and just that scene is forever going to be embedded in my head, because just like, wow, imagine seeing that, like that's trauma inducing, but like so good. So I'm going to continue to read, and I will let you know when I finish the next part. There's only 2 more days left in the book, so I finished day 9 and the interludes and the emotional damage that this day has inflicted scares me for what day 10 is going to do to me. I gotta say, I think that the best fight scene, at least so far, it's hard to say, obviously, like what the champion battle will be like, but like the best fight scene, at least so far, was with Adolin and the Sinners, and with the pikes, and then like with the shield and sword, and just, that was the most, I just love that fight scene so much. It was such a great moment, and just like one of the best fight scenes, honestly, that I've ever read. And then such a great contrast to it is the flute scene with Nail, and it's like you can battle, you can fight in two different ways. You can do the flute scene way, or you could do the Adolin protecting Azir way, and it's like, it's so good. I also just feel so bad for poor Szeth this entire time, like, I just feel bad for him, and I love that Kaladin is like there for him, and Syl's there for him, and like all of this, and it's just like, it's just nice. And the humanization of the Stormfather, and finally getting the big reveal, and like all those missing pieces all added up together were excellent. So well done. And I also really love that scene with Odium, Jasnah, and Fen. I think that was so good and well done, and just like made my brain spin around in so many different ways, and I feel like I have to process that part to really think about it some more, but like that was really well done. It just, And then like the more that the book progresses, the more I'm convinced that Kaladin is going to become Honor. So I feel like the wind is up to something, like the wind is obviously up to something. It's always been there with Kaladin too, and he's like a wind runner and all this. So we will see where that goes, but I think that that's gonna be really cool. And oh my goodness, okay, what Sigil did, I literally had to put the book down. I had to put it down just to like let it sink in. Just wow. So we are about to start day 10, and I'm really scared because one of my biggest predictions is that Dalinar is gonna die, and I don't want that to happen, and I'm just like scared, and I don't want him to die, but I know that Brandon Sanderson is gonna inflict more damage to me personally. He's out here personally for me. I don't know why, Brandon Sanderson, why do you want to hurt me? But I love every single thing about it. But yeah, wish me luck. The last part of all Brandon Sanderson books are always the most pain-inducing, so. I just finished Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. Why? I knew he was gonna hurt me, but how can he manage to trick me and surprise me and do all of these amazing plot twists and all this emotional damage in like the last part? Like, he hurt me throughout the entire book, but this part, and it's also such a crime that we're gonna have to wait like 5 or more years for this, and it's like, it hurts. So much happened. I would say, at least on like a happier note and like a less tragic note, I really love that scene with Dalinar and Navani. It was just like such a good way to represent the way that they love and cherish each other. I thought that was just super cute. I'm really happy it was done the way it was done, even if he's very tame on the romance. But wow, okay, yeah, so you notice I'm going to the small stuff, then we're going to the big stuff here. I gotta say, Yanagon, I really like him as a character. I love the character growth that he's getting, and really just getting that spotlight. It's very similar to, oh, what was his name? His name escapes me at the moment. It's very similar to that character whose name escapes me at the moment in Mistborn, who really started to shine in book 3. I hate that I can't remember his name, but I think it's just like the trauma of Wind and Truth that's like blocking my brain. But how he got his own really just way to shine, I feel like is very similar to what's happened with Yanagon, and I really love that. Also really love that we got to learn more about like Shinovar and Azir, I think is how you say it. Those different areas that aren't just where our characters always are. So we got to learn about the cultures and the people and the different types of foods and the way that their governments work as well. I thought was really, really fascinating. And I gotta say, all of that unoath stuff was so cool. I was so worried for the longest time, and then like it just makes so much sense, and I'm excited to see like where that
kind of story arc is going to go and what that actually means in the long term. But the champion that Odium had, that was another one of those moments where I literally like screamed and had to like set the book down just to absorb it, because I tried predicting, like, wait, this is what I love about Brandon Sanderson. You cannot predict what he's going to do. He is going to make you think something, and then just like, boom! And that's what happened with the champion. Like, holy wow. And the 3 lines that really gave me the chills was definitely, I am the law. Like, oh yes, I am the law. So good. And the I understand you. But then, the line that came a little bit after the I understand you, I did not see that one coming. I did not see that coming at all. I also really want to try that bread that Dalinar was eating. Like, it sounded delicious. And then that amazing scene, Kaladin standing. You know the one. Whew, so many chills. And then of course we have to talk about the Sunmaker's Gambit. The foreshadowing for that was incredible. Holy wow. Yeah, I got goosebumps. You can't even tell. I got goosebumps though. I got goosebumps just thinking about the Sunmaker's Gambit. That was, and the way that the book has left us off with these kind of, well, we're just gonna kind of suffer for a little bit, but all these little things to think about. Like, okay, obviously, like, this isn't a spoiler because we don't know, but there was one mention where it said Shalin cradled her stomach. Is she pregnant? Is that what that means? Like, is she pregnant? I don't know. And then, like, what's going on with Hoyd? Like, very interesting. Hoyd, I need that Hoyd book. He needs to write the Hoyd book. And then, like, Taravangian's little place that he has. That's interesting. And I think that it's going to become his downfall. And then, of course, everything with Kaladin. I kind of predicted it in a way, but like not entirely, but like as I was reading, I was starting to suspect what was going to happen. And so I thought that was really good as well. And I will 100% be making a part where I just debrief all the spoilers. We're gonna talk about the spoilers. We're gonna talk about my predictions, because I want to try and decipher that end note. Because you notice that there's some periods in that end note, but not for all the words and the way it's spaced. So there's definitely a hidden message in there somewhere, and I'm going to attempt to decode it, and we will have that in that video as well. So yeah, this was such a great way to conclude the arc. Like, honestly, phenomenal. This book, this is a giant book. This is the biggest book I've ever read in my life, and it was beautiful and it was gorgeous, and it did take me 2 weeks to read it. Yeah, I feel like it just, you know, you just need to stare at a wall after reading something like this, because it's absolutely ruined me. This book has ruined me. Today, we are going to be awarding Wind in Truth a total of 5 stars. When a book makes me feel like that and literally like lean over for some reason, holding the book and like screaming and not being able to sleep because I have to know what happens next. Like, I was dreaming about this book. I cannot stop thinking about this book. This book has ruined me. It has broke my heart. I love it so much. It's such a contradiction. And then just like looking at the cover, it's so sad now. It's ruined for me, but in the best way. So thank you so much for watching. This is a gigantic video. I think it's one of the longest videos I've ever made, but this is also the longest book I've ever read. So it makes sense that it's just a longer video. So if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I definitely want to hear all of your thoughts on this book, all of your theories. And so yeah, definitely leave them in the comments. If you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Wish me luck. I need to process this. Wow. Bye.